to go, dear students. Today we are going to discuss our next chapter, that is friction. So don't go anywhere because we are going to discuss the whole chapter. Friction. Leonardo da Vinci is the first scholar to study friction. Frictional force, the force that opposes motion. Example, push the ball forward. Force of friction acts in backward direction. Rub your hands together to produce heat. Factors affecting friction. First one, nature of the surface in contact. Rough surfaces have more friction, whereas smooth surfaces have less friction. Second one, mass of object in contact. More weight will be more friction, and if we have less weight, then there will be less friction. After that, causes of friction due to interlocking of irregularities between the two surfaces in contact. Types of friction. Mainly we have three types of friction: static friction, limiting friction, and kinetic friction. Static friction, the opposing force that comes into play when one body tends to move over the surface of another but the actual motion has not started, is called static friction. After this we have limiting friction. The maximum value of static friction is called the limiting friction. Limiting friction is the maximum opposing force that comes into play when one body is at the verge of moving over the surface of another body. After that we have kinetic friction. Kinetic friction acts between two bodies when they are moving upon one another. Now kinetic friction is further divided into two types: sliding friction and rolling friction. First one is sliding friction. The opposing force that comes into play when one body is actually sliding over the surface of another body is called sliding friction. Example, when a log of wood is moved on a flat surface, it slides. Next one is rolling friction. The opposing force that comes into play when one body is actually rolling over the surface of another body. Example, roller skates have wheels that helps in moving very fast. Now always remember 2 points. Static friction is more than that of the rolling friction and sliding friction. Fluid friction, the force of friction on object that moves through fluids. Fluid friction means friction due to liquids and gases. Objects that have a streamlined shape experiences lesser friction, that is drag. The force of friction on objects that move through fluids is known as the drag. Now friction due to water and air, the bodies have a streamlined body. The spatial shape of a body or an object around which a fluid can flow, offering minimum friction, is called streamlined shape. Bodies of ships, boats, birds, aeroplanes, bullet trains, they all are streamlined shape. That's why they experiences less friction while moving in water as well as through the air. Advantages of friction. First one, we are able to walk on ground. Second, tires of vehicles are treaded to increase friction. Third, spikes under the shoes of players to increase friction. Fourth one, we are able to write on a paper with a pen or pencil. Fifth one, brakes of moving vehicles. So these are the advantages. Disadvantages of friction. First one, the surfaces of screws and ball bearings of machines. Second, heat generated by friction raises the temperature of machine and damage it. Third one, friction causes wear and tear. Fourth one, friction causes wastage of energy. Ways to increase friction: by increasing the roughness of surfaces, by drying the surfaces, use of brake pads. Next, ways to reducing friction: by lubricating the surface, by polishing the surface, by using wheels and ball bearings, by streamlining the shape of an object. Thank you. I hope you understood everything that we have discussed. So, till then, wait for the next video and stay happy, stay safe. Thank you.